Welcome to the Build Room 3D model activity. In this activity, you'll bring your room design to life by building a 3D scale model using cardboard or paper. As you build, you'll use math to measure volume, calculate surface area, and estimate real-world costs. So let's turn math into architecture. In this activity, some of the material you may want to use is going to be cardstock paper, cardboard, geometry set, colored construction paper, calculator, sticky labels, glue stick, scissors, tape, clear glue, ruler, pencil, eraser, pencil sharpener, crayons, math notebook, blueprint paper, and white construction paper. We're going to use our floor plan that we designed on the blueprint paper to start designing our 3D model. So what we'll do is our 3D model is going to live on top of a piece of cardboard. So make sure you're using the cardboard so that it's stiff and that anything we place on here can stay steady. So we're going to use this. We're going to transfer the outline of the walls onto this cardboard sheet so that we know what area we're working with when we're building the 3D model. So if we look at this representation of a 20-foot wall using the ruler, it's close to 8 inches, so that's what we're going to use for the wall. And we are going to transfer that to the cardboard sheet. So we go from here and we are going to outline that part of the wall. Next, we look at this representation that's 13 feet. On the ruler, it's close to 5 inches. So we'll draw that here. Okay, and then we'll finish the entire rectangle. Okay, so now we have this outline of the walls transferred to our cardboard sheet. Next, we're going to draw the outline of the walls. So this is the length of this wall, and I'm going to draw an outline that I will eventually cut out, and that will be the wall. So it'll be placed somewhat like this, but we need to make sure that we cut to here and it's only a certain height. So what I will do, we know that from here to here is 8 inches, and that is what our 20-foot wall represented. So let's go ahead and we'll draw 8 inches. Here to here, 8 inches. And then we want the wall to be 4 inches high. Because the 8 inches represents 20 feet, 4 inches will represent 10 feet. So our wall will be 10 feet tall in the real world. So let's go ahead and draw the height. Here we have the height, which will be the 4 inches. Okay, and I'll finish the rectangle outline here. So there we go. This represents the outline of what will be the wall that goes here. So now I'm going to do the same for this wall. So it'll be the same length here. So that was, let's see, we have, it'll be 5 inches, and then it'll be a 4 foot tall wall once again. So let's go ahead and I'll draw that. So there we go, the wall that will be placed here. So let's go ahead and start labeling some of these walls and outlines. So we have, again, from here to here is equal to 20 feet. So we have 20 feet. From here to here, it is 13 feet. Be careful not to write impress on the surface too hard. This represents 20 feet. And the height of the wall represented here is 10 feet. Here we had 13 feet. And then 10 foot tall wall. Before I start cutting out the wall outline, I'm going to mark every 1 inch here on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw these extra features that are going to look like this. And they're going to be like teeth or tabs. And then I will cut them out. And then I'll do the same on this side. And that way, when I put the wall up, they're going to link like this, and that'll help the wall stay solid, and it will be stable. So let's go ahead and do that by, we'll start by making we'll do squares that are, let's see, 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. So then, there we go. Okay, our first square here. Then we'll leave this one without a square, and then we'll make a square here. Again, a 1 inch all around square. There we go. So we have this tab and this tab, and then we will do the same here. So we'll mark every inch. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now for this side, we're going to skip this square and draw the square here, skip this square, draw the square here. That way, like I said, they can link like this. So let's go ahead and draw this square here all around. So the square is 1 inch. Skip this one, draw here. There we go. So these will be able to lock with each other. So I'm going to start cutting out these. So like I said, we will cut the outline. So I will cut this way, and then make sure I keep this square, go like this, and like this, and like this, and cut the rest. And on this side, I'll go like this, cut around like this, 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 and this. Okay, so now that we've cut out the outline. This is what it looks like, and they will be able to connect like this. Okay, like this. And that'll keep the wall pretty sturdy and stable. But before we do that, I want to take a look at these walls individually. So I made sure I rewrote the dimensions inside of the outline so that we could see them, because we did cut outside the outline. So now we have the dimensions inside. I do want to know how much area this wall is, because we're going to eventually paint this wall, and I want to know how much paint we would need for this surface area on this wall and also on this wall. So again, what we can do is we can find the area, and the area is going to be equal to the length times width. So we're going to say that the L length is 20 feet. The width is going to be 10 feet. Okay, and we can use our calculator, and we have 20 feet times 10 feet is 200. This is 200, and because it's area, 200 feet squared. So this wall is 200 feet squared of the surface area. Next, we'll do the same for this wall. Calculate the area. Length times the width. So we have length is going to equal to 13 feet times the width is going to be 10 feet. Using our calculator, 13 times 10, 130. So 130 feet squared. This wall is 130 feet squared of surface area. One thing I do want to take note here is that this wall goes like this, which is essentially this wall. And we did say we wanted a TV, and we're going to mount that TV on this wall. So let's go ahead and start drawing that TV, the outline of that TV. So on our 2D blueprint, we say it is 6 feet, and using the ruler, we see that it's about 2.5 inches wide, and that represents the 6 feet. So we have 2.5 inches, and we're going to make this 2 inches tall. So this is going to represent our TV here. So I'm just going to draw an outline here. So TV. And I'm going to cut this outline out, and we're going to mount it onto this wall. Okay, there we have it. We've cut out the TV, and we're going to mount it onto the wall. So the way we'll do that is we will use this glue stick, and I did use cardstock instead of cardboard sheet for the TV, just to make it easier to cut out and glue. So let's go ahead and add the glue to the back of the TV, and we're mounting it on the wall. So we will have a fully mounted TV on the wall like this. Nice. So there goes our TV mounted on the wall. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start installing the walls, because there's gonna be some glue and I want it to start drying. So again, these walls can connect like this. So we have this corner here, and then the walls will stand up here like so. So what I'll do is I'll start adding some of the clear glue so that we can have the wall stay in place. So we'll add plenty of clear glue here to make sure it stands and sticks into place. Okay, so this is gonna take some time to dry. And then I will also add some glue on the back of the walls here. So some glue here. And on this side as well. While we wait for these walls to finish drying glue, we're gonna start building some of the furniture. So I'll start with the bed first. So let's start taking some dimensions from this bed. So if you look at the width, it's about 1.5 inches, and this length is about 2.5 inches. So let's draw that outline again. So this will, but this time we're going to change it from 2D to 3D. But first we draw the 1.5 inch here, 2.5 here. Okay, so let's finish this. Okay, so that is our bed, but we're gonna make this a 3D shape. Okay, so how do we do that? We're going to make a flat pattern, and then from this flat pattern, we're going to fold it into a 3D shape. So the way I'll do that is I'm going to add additional shapes here that eventually will fold. I'll start with here. Let's make this from here to here 1 inch. From here to here 1 inch. Okay, close this. From here to here is another 1 inch. From here to here, 1 inch. We'll close this here. This is also 1 inch. 1 inch. Okay, so we have this. Now let's draw the rest of it here. From here to here is 1 inch. From here to here, 1 inch. Let's close it. This is 1 inch. 1 inch. Okay, here we're going to draw again the pattern of the bed. So remember that was 1.5. 1.5. And what was it here? Okay, that is our flat pattern. So we're going to cut all around the pattern, not in the lines that go across. Okay, so then this is the flat pattern for the bed. So let's go ahead and start by folding the pattern where the lines are. So like this. And like this. Like this. Also these guys here. Okay. So now this flat pattern can start folding into a 3D shape like this. And we can tape these edges so that it'll stay in a 3D rectangular prism shape. Okay. Let's add some tape here. And we can start connecting the edges to each other and folding the tape like this. And we'll do the same to these two. There we go, we have a 3D version of our bed. So the bed is located here, and with our 3D model, we're going to locate it in the same area. We'll glue it down with some clear glue. Okay, we have glue here, and we'll place it in the same area. Okay, so that'll be the bed. We have the bed, and then we have the TV in front of the bed. So earlier we calculated the area of the bed. Now we can calculate the volume of the bed since we have a third dimension. So what we can do is, we know that from here to here is 6 feet, and then from here to here is 4 feet, and we're going to estimate that from here to here is 2 feet. So we have those 3 dimensions, and we can calculate the volume of the bed now. And we also have, again, the surface area of the walls. So there are some interesting numbers and information we could use here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. First, let's calculate the volume of the bed. So I'm going to just redraw the bed, but in 3D, so that we can do the math here. So this is the bed in 3D. Okay, so we did say that we have, once again, 4 feet and 6 feet. So we have 6 feet here, 4 feet here, and we're going to say that this height here is 2 feet. So we have 3 dimensions now. There is a formula for this volume, and that will be the volume is going to equal to length times width times height. Okay, so we have all of these values. We have the length, which is going to equal to 6 feet, times the width, which is going to equal to 4 feet, and the height, which is going to equal to 2 feet. So now we can calculate the volume of this rectangular prism or bed. So we have, using the calculator, 6 feet times 4 feet times 2 feet, and this is going to equal 48. So this equals 48 feet, and since this is volume and we have 1, 2, 3 units of feet, this is cubed, 48 feet cubed. So now we can also look at the 2 walls that we have. So we have a wall like this, and then we also have another wall that is placed like this. Okay, so we said that the wall where the TV is at, this whole wall is 200 feet squared. This other wall, we did the math and we said was 130 feet squared. Okay, so I want to know, in total we have, for these two walls we have 200 feet squared plus 130 feet squared. So this is the surface area of those two walls. So 200 plus 130 equals 330. 330 square feet of surface area between those two walls. Okay, so now let's say that, okay, so we have a surface area between the two walls, 330 feet squared. So let's say that it cost $100 to paint 100 square feet. So how much is it going to cost to paint the 330 feet? So since we have this ratio here, we can do some math. So we have 330 feet squared, and then we could use this. This will be used as a conversion ratio. So when we're going to convert the surface area to cost, we can do 300 feet squared times this conversion ratio. So we'll place the 100 on the numerator, and in the denominator we have 100 feet squared. So then if we do the math here, so if you're multiplying a whole number times a fraction, this whole number can be changed to a fraction by adding a 1 in the denominator, and then we simply multiply across. So we have 330 times 100, so 330 times 100 is big number, 33,000. And then 1 times 100, here we go. Okay, so 33,000 divided by 100 divided by 100, and we are left with 330. And what is this number? Well, we look at the units here. We had feet and feet. These can cross out. We're left with just dollars. So this is dollars. So it cost us $330 to paint 330 square feet of the surface area of the walls. So in this activity, we use the 2D design that we had created on blueprint paper to convert from a 2D version to a 3D version. We calculated the surface area of some walls and understood that it would cost a certain amount to paint those walls. And then we were able to even calculate the volume of the bed. And from there, we can add the desk, calculate the volume of the desk, and we could add more walls. Currently, we don't have the other walls, just so it's easier to see into the bedroom, but we can add the walls, we can add the door, and we can add the window in the next steps.